Hi guys, how are you guys doing? I hope you're all well. In this video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and a few questions and just stuff around things you can consider for when you're about to start placement. This is something that actually two of my subscribers requested that I do, and I reckon it'll be something that will be really beneficial for you guys. I do have a previous video talking about placement, but then again I was only a new social worker at that time, so I only had a few basic points in there, but it's still helpful if you want to check it out. I'll link it in the description box below. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jasmine. I'm a practicing social worker and I share my experiences here on the channel, both social work and non-social work related. Go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up because that helps me out a lot as well, and it's free. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the tips that I have first before I go through the questions. So one of the things that I would say is try and do different things with as many workers within the service as possible. A lot of the time as students, we're designated supervisors, and we're given supervisors who are meant to support us throughout the placement. So a lot of the time they're the ones that we tag along with when they're going on home visits or when they're doing assessments or whatever it is that they do. But a lot of the time within the same office there's other caseworkers, there's other social workers, there's other people that do different things, and it's important to go and spend some time with them where possible. First of all, you're killing time doing that. Second of all, you get to see different styles and different ways of working with clients and stuff like that. And a lot of the time your supervisors, because they have to do their own work, they might not always have time for you, and that allows you to be proactive in that way, and it looks really good on you as well. The other thing I would say is you could also offer to do a project. Like generally, I feel like they're usually very open to students doing like research projects and things like that. So if there's a particular client group that they're supporting, you could definitely put your hand up and be like, okay, I'd like to do a research on like whether you guys are meeting these clients' needs and what needs to be improved and stuff like that. And a lot of the time they're very open and like happy for you to do those kind of things, and that would help you again kill time, but at the same time you will learn a lot because you get to speak to the clients directly, you get to find out what the gaps in the service is and that kind of thing, and what other programs might be available to support these clients as well. So yeah, different projects can be very helpful. Besides research, another thing you could do is maybe you could design pamphlets or flyers or something like that for the service. That's another good way to kind of contribute as well, because I find sometimes as students you might feel like you're not doing much and this is a bit of a waste of time, but you know, the more you get involved the better it will be for you. The final points that I will give is always prepare before supervision. If you're anything like me, a lot of the time you just can't ask questions on the spot. Like if you get asked, so do you have any questions? A lot of the time I kind of freeze and like I just don't know what to say. So I like to prepare myself with questions before I go into supervision, and I find that's really helpful, especially as a student. A lot of the time you don't even know what kind of questions to ask or what's helpful and stuff like that. So preparing questions for supervision can be helpful, and it can be a good way to gather as much information as you can from the supervisors that you might be working with. So now that we've talked about asking questions, we're going to move into the questions that you should ask. The first thing that I would say is find out about services within that local area and what services the clients tend to access and stuff like that. That can be really helpful for when you start practicing. Then you know what kind of services are available for different things. Even if it's not within the same area, there's certain basic services that you're likely to come across again in the future. So ask questions about what services are available, what do they do, and that kind of thing. Another tip I forgot to mention is try and get involved in like, you know, assessments, referrals, information provision and stuff like that for clients. Like sometimes supervisors are open to doing that, especially if it's your second placement. If it's your first placement, it might be a bit like, no, we don't think you can see clients. But Second time, sometimes they're a bit flexible. So if you have that opportunity, I definitely encourage you to take advantage and, like, you know, try and do some work yourself, and your supervisor can observe or something and then give you feedback. That can be a very, very good way to learn as well. Okay, let's go back to the questions. The other question I would say is ask about challenging clients. Do they ever get challenging clients? How do they handle it? And how do they handle the impact on themselves as well? Like, because, you know, a lot of the time if a client calls you names or something like that, it might have an impact on you. How do they manage that? What kind of things do they say to the client? That kind of thing, because challenging clients will likely come up for you as a social worker. The other thing I would say is ask about what techniques are being used. If you observe your supervisor do like an interview or a counseling session or a therapy session or whatever with a client, ask them like, oh, so what technique were you using here when you said this and that? What kind of thing were you trying to do here when you said this and that? You know, that's really helpful. It helps you to connect the practice to the theory that you're learning in uni. Ask about the processes. What are the processes within that organization? How do the referrals come through? Do they have forms that they use to accept referrals? And then once a referral comes through, who does it go to? How do they allocate to caseworkers? Do they have waiting lists? How do they prioritize who they take on first, and how do they decide who can wait a little bit longer? What does that look like? Those are really, really good questions to ask. So that's it for the questions. Anyways, I really hope you found this helpful. If you have, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I guess I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.